Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Packy from the house, and today I am bringing you an all-new ball video. It is the DV8 Activ8. We are giving one away on our channel, so if you subscribe to a Tier 2 membership, we're giving one away this month, just like we give a different ball away every month. So for those of you who want to join up and get a ball, chance is yours. I put a different layout on this ball because I usually struggle at this house, but yeah, so since I put a new layout on it, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get a little more than I did at the state tournament last weekend, which went no good for me. But new ball, new me, let's see what I got, and hopefully I'll bowl with it in the team section of the event this weekend, and hopefully I can post up some scores. But until then, let's get right into it. I'll talk about the layout a little bit, and then we will bowl our very first game number uno, with the DV8 Activ8, and hopefully it's a good one, because otherwise I'm gonna look like an idiot. Here we go. Shot number one going down the lane, fall off balance, really post it, nail that shot at the line. No, just kidding, that was horrible. But one thing I would like to talk about a little bit as these first couple shots is that layout. You know, I mentioned the layout earlier, and I think it's really important that I mention it because I'm not getting the full potential out of this ball. I would say if I gave it a normal, normally I might put a 60 by like 4.5 inch layout by 45 degrees. So the exact same angles, just way further from my axis. And that would put it, probably instead of me throwing over 12, 13 here, that would get me moving into about 15, 16, 17 at the arrows, really being able to open up the lane and hook it. The problem is, as I talked about a little bit, the state tournament the previous weekend didn't go so hot. And the other tournament up in Kansas City as well, that same weekend, also didn't go that hot. And the reason for that is I stink, first off. Second reason for that is the bowling balls that I had to use necessarily they were the balls that were the best for the moment, but they weren't the ones that I actually would have wanted to use. I would have wanted to use something that's a little straighter, that I can feed it through the fronts and have it not overhook down lane. So I needed like a pearl ball that didn't make a sharp motion. And those two like sayings, pearl ball and not sharp down lane, those don't exactly go together. So I put a 1 inch layout on this Activ8 to try and get that pearl ball that's not gonna go sideways when it gets to the friction or when it gets to the end of the pattern. So the end of the pattern, obviously there's friction down there because there's no more oil. Or if I feed it to the left by accident, I leak one out to the gutter, it's also not gonna overhook, which is huge for me because that was a battle all last weekend. And then this upcoming weekend at state, I'm hoping, luckily for me, I get to practice at the center since it's in town. But this upcoming weekend at state is on the same shot I just bowled on. So I drilled this Activ8 to try and help me still throw it a little more normal. I've worked on some physical things like trying to get through the ball, trying to push the ball down the lane to float it through the fronts, not have to play so deep. But all of those things, I still need a ball that fits my game. And for this is definitely a ball that fits my game. You saw 4 absolutely identical shots. We'll call them identical, and by that I mean I'm a sprinkler. So I call them identical, but 4 shots, 4 different shots, 4 different results, all of them strikes. So they all struck a little different. Now I'm 5 for 5. That one was really good, almost just like the last one previous to that. I'm aiming at about 5, 6 down lane. I'm trying to not get right of like 12, 13 at the arrows. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Obviously, I'm doing an amazing job because I have the front 5. But that being said, I am trying to stay a little further left and see what this ball does for me because it's my first full game. I used it a little bit on the US Open. I thought it was really good for a pearl ball that I would never use on the US Open. I thought it gave me at least a little bit of room. But this is the scenario I'm using it for. I'm using it for those super, super high friction houses that require me to play straight. I know in high friction houses I can chase it right, I can wheel and deal the lane, I can loft it a little bit, I can do pretty much everything from 4th arrow. But now I need those high friction houses where maybe they hook too much in the middle of the lane and it doesn't hook the whole time. So I need something where I can feed it to the left and not have to worry about it over bouncing. So this is basically my straighter ball, my down and in ball. But for you guys, you're gonna be able to play 3rd, 4th arrow and get this thing to boomerang down lane. I can just tell because usually when I put 1 inch pins, they don't hook like this. They really just float a little too much, go a little straighter. But I have the front 7, so now I'm nervous. And you guys can tell, because this next shot is horrible. But yeah, frame 8 coming up. I'm on the front 7. I really would love to shoot 300 for the ball video, because I think that's pretty cool when you shoot 300, especially during, you know, when you're filming the whole game. But unfortunately for me, squeeze it. No clutch, all pressure. Really just, I did everything that I should have done on that one. I hit it, I missed in, I threw it slow. So the triple threat right there of throw it slow, hit it hard, and miss in. I got really lucky that I only left a 6-pin, and that's when I kind of knew that this was the ball. You know, I had a little room. I threw that glam on the spare shot because I didn't want to miss it for the ball video. But I have a little room. You know, I jammed on it, I threw it slow, and I missed in, and all I was left with was a 6-pin. It easily could have been a big 4. I honestly thought off of my hand that it might go Brooklyn, and I was left with a 6-pin where I hit the pocket. So, I mean, I got a little lucky, but I think the ball speaks for itself here. But this is the all-new DV8 Activ8. I like the purple and silver. Obviously, who doesn't love a purple ball, especially when you make a career out of throwing them? So I'm hoping that this is another ball, especially out on tour. This is probably one that I'll bring as like a just in case. It'll fill that spot in my bag where if they're easy or if they're high friction, especially when that friction's early, that I'll be able to break this out of the bag. I'll be able to use this one to really make sure that I can shut my angles down, keep it in front of me. I'll roll, in this video I'm getting a little around it, so I would make sure I could roll it a little heavier and really shut my angles down, and I'd be able to throw this on some harder patterns, and I jammed on that one, and I rolled it, so it's real. But yeah, I could definitely see myself bringing this to some of those shorter patterns, you know, maybe some of those shorter patterns where urethane is not involved. I would either use this, a fugitive solid I have with a 2-inch pin, so kind of bounce back and forth. It depends how much the fronts are hooking. I'd probably hit this with a little surface, to be honest. But for now, it's going to be my house shot killer. It's going to be one of those ones when I'm in those high friction house shots, this is the ball. And when I'm in those low friction house shots, I'm going to be able to throw something like a bonus pearl with a 4-inch pin that just really hooks. So for right now, this is my DV8 Activ8. Hopefully I shoot 279 here. I probably should have put the scores down below, but I think you guys, most of you can do the bowling math on this one. So I throw one more horrible shot for you. You know, I would honestly say this game, pretty good 279. Gives me a little confidence for the state tournament this upcoming weekend. And for the 279, I easily could have shot 230 if I didn't have this layout and this ball. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I'll talk to you in a second. All right, guys, thanks for joining along. That was my very first game with the all-new DV8 Activ8. Brand new ball from the DV8 line. It is that mid-performance ball. Got that nice polished cover stock on it, 1500 compound, and definitely something I can see myself using, especially on these. This is not necessarily a house that I love bowling at, but it's one that I needed to practice at, and luckily this ball definitely gives me the right shape. So thanks for joining along, and I'll see you guys next time.